Standards, Stewardship, and the Truth About Real Opportunity. Will, I start with the heart of the matter. This is an essay I wrote to respond to your post. When you argue that no one is lowering standards and that DEI is only about helping the overlooked, you ignore what people on the ground have seen with their own eyes. Scripture anchors the point. Proverbs teaches that when rulers abandon sound judgment, the people groan. Paul warns Timothy to guard what has been entrusted to him. Lowering standards is not compassion. It is negligence. Negligence harms people. It harms the people in the seats, the people in the cockpit, and the people on the operating table. I have lived long enough in public service to know that good intentions do not save lives. Competence does. There is evidence that lowering standards destroys trust and can cost lives. Look at what happened with some municipal fire departments that removed physical requirements in the name of equity. Several cities later reversed course after crews failed to complete basic rescue drills. A department in Pennsylvania documented slower response times and training failures after physical standards were softened. No one was helped. Firefighters were placed at risk, and civilians suffered. Look at the Air Force during the early years of the pilot shortage. When the service relaxed parts of the aptitude screen to meet recruitment targets, there were more washouts in flight training. That cost millions and put instructors and trainees in danger. Look at medical schools that eliminated the MCAT requirement in the name of access. A few of those schools now report higher dropout rates and remediation needs. The student suffers, the patient later suffers. Lowering bars never creates excellence. It creates confusion and risk. Will opportunity is biblical, but changing the standard is not. Scripture teaches dignity and fairness. God told Israel not to favor the rich or the poor. They were commanded to judge with equity. That is a genuine opportunity. A fair door is opened, but the bar of excellence is not moved. The Tuskegee Airmen proved this. They did not need a lowered standard. They needed a chance, and once they had it, they outperformed many of their white peers. The Navajo code talkers did not need the Marines to change the bar. They needed someone wise enough to see their value. When you cite black quarterbacks, coaches, or pilots, you strengthen my point. Every one of them succeeded because they were held to the same high bar. They were diamonds, and they shone under pressure. Will DEI is not the same thing everywhere. DEI can be legitimate when it means this person has talent and would usually be overlooked because the system is blind to them. Give him a fair try. But DEI becomes corrupted when people with power use it to impose ideology. That is where real people get hurt. It has happened in school districts that hired teachers who lacked mastery of the subjects they taught. It happened in business sectors when boards selected executives for optics rather than competence. I saw this in my own workplace. My leader lacked the experience, judgment, and ethical grounding required by the position. The fallout harmed staff and damaged trust. Opportunity did not fail. A lowered bar failed. Will lowering standards always be about control? When influential people shape the rules to force outcomes they want, they are not pursuing fairness. They are seeking control. They create categories. They assign guilt. They grant privilege to some and punishment to others. It mirrors the dynamic Paul warned about when he said that people will gather teachers who say what they want to hear. The goal is not excellence. The goal is power. This is why both the far left and the far right twist DEI. One side uses it to enforce ideological loyalty. The other side uses it to stoke fear and create political leverage. Neither side wants an honest opportunity. They want control over the narrative and control over the institutions that shape minds and futures. Will communities rise when excellence remains the standard? If you want real advancement for marginalized communities, you raise the standard and you help people reach it. You mentor young men and women. You bring them into programs early. You invest in their skills and discipline. This has always worked. Sports prove it. Aviation proves it. Military special operations prove it. Churches that build men through discipleship prove it. When you lift a standard, you honor God because you honor truth. When you lower it, you harm the very people you say you want to help. The question is not whether DEI can be good. The question is whether the modern form has been hijacked by people who use it as a tool for social engineering rather than a path to real opportunity. Many older adults will tell you that they lived through both the horror of discrimination and the strength of high expectations. They will tell you the door opened for them because someone believed they could rise to excellence, not because someone cut the bar in half. Will clarity lead to stewardship? If we want fairness, we open the door. If we wish to excel, we keep the bar high. If we want justice, we refuse to let ideology replace wisdom. If we want communities to rise, we do not weaken the requirements for surgeons, pilots, firefighters, police officers, or soldiers. A lowered bar costs lives. A raised bar saves them. Will the truth stand? DEI that opens doors is good. DEI that lowers standards is dangerous. When it becomes a tool of control, it loses any moral value it ever had. My goal is freedom and excellence, not ideology. My call is to truth, not control. Thanks for reading. Please like and share to learn more.